Hello, everyone! This time we will review about how to find the vertical and horizontal asymptote. Please subscribe on my channel.
Hello everyone! So we are now in the next discussion of our topic about function and relations. Find the horizontal asymptotes. Remember, this is part of finding the domain and range. This is the boundary. So we have here a rational function. F of x is a function that can be written is in the form of f of x equals p of x over q of x, where p and q of x are polynomial function, and then the denominator must not be equal to 0. That is the definition of a rational function. So a rational function can have more than one vertical asymptote, but it can have at most one horizontal asymptote. So we have here, if p of x and q of x have no common factors, then the vertical asymptote when q of x equate to 0, so the graph has vertical asymptote is the zeros of the denominator. So meaning, you equate the denominator into 0 and solve for the x. After, you cancel the common. So dapat wala na siya common factors. So we have here an example. So we have here, vertical asymptote is equal to x equals a, vertical line. This is a vertical line where a represents the real zeros of the function, ang makapa-zero. So find the vertical asymptote of f of x equals 2x over x squared minus 1. Remember the factors here. This is a perfect square, x plus 1 and x minus 1. So when you solve for x equals 1 and x equals negative 1. So we have here, x squared can be factored, so the denominator, wala naman na siya common. You cannot cancel x here since we have symmetry na siya operation ng addition. Dili ni siya makancel si x o si x squared. So the factors of the denominator, x squared minus 1 is x minus 1, x plus 1. So the zeros are, ang makapa-zero niya, si 1 and negative 1. When you substitute 1 here, squared, 1 minus 1, 0. When you substitute negative 1 times negative 1, positive 1. So 1 minus 1, 0. So this is the same as the domain. Ang makapa-0 niya. So makapa-0, x equals 1 and x equals negative 1. Okay. While the horizontal asymptote can be determined by looking at the degrees of p of x and q of x. Degree, ang iyang highest exponent. If the degree of p of x is less than the degree of q of x, bali ang degree sa iyang numerator less than the degree of the denominator, so ang iyang horizontal asymptote, automatic siya nga y equals 0. So kada along the x-axis. Again, if the degree of the numerator less than the degree of the denominator, the horizontal asymptote is y equals 0. If the degree of p of x is equal to the degree of the q of x, so parehas lang degree. So ang exponent sa ibabaw, x squared, and then the denominator put x squared. So ang ilahang horizontal asymptote, ang boundary niya sa horizontal is the leading coefficient of p of x and q of x. Another situation, if the degree of p of x is greater than the degree of the denominator, wala siya horizontal asymptote. Kung ang exponent ni the numerator greater than the degree of the denominator, there is no horizontal asymptote. Kung sa itong vertical, ang iyang makapa-0 sa denominator. Ang horizontal asymptote, tanaw nimo ang exponent sa numerator and denominator. Kung less than gani ang numerator sa degree sa denominator, y equals 0. If equal, leading coefficient. If greater, no horizontal asymptote. Okay. So we have here, find the horizontal asymptote of this rational function. Look at the degree here. Ang degree ni 3x is 1. Exponent of x, 1. The degree of the denominator is 2. Unsa tong less than? If the degree of the numerator is 1, the degree of the denominator is 2, since the degree of the numerator gamay sa degree sa denominator, ang iyang horizontal asymptote is y equals 0. Remember, this function, ang imong vertical asymptote ani kay si 1 o si negative 1. Okay. Another example. Find the horizontal asymptote of 3x plus 1. F of x equals 3x plus 1 over 2x minus 1. Same silang degree, di ba? The degree of the numerator is 1, the degree of the denominator is 1. So, wala sila. Unsa to, leading coefficient. Sorry. The degree of the numerator is equal to the degree of the denominator. Ang ilang horizontal asymptote is their leading coefficient. 3 halves. Another example. Find the horizontal asymptote. F of x equals 3x squared plus 1 over 2x minus 1. Ang iyang degree kay highest man sa numerator kay 2 and the degree of the denominator is 1. So, wala siya horizontal asymptote. This one, find the vertical and horizontal asymptotes. Iyang mga boundary of the graph of a given rational function. Okay. So, again, how you're going to write the vertical asymptote in equation form. Vertical, x equals a. Any real number ni si a. Okay. For the horizontal, depende sa degree. So, find the vertical asymptote and horizontal asymptote. So, here, 2x minus 1, look at the denominator. So, equate ni siya. Equate to 0. Okay. So, equate to 0 man ni siya. 2x minus 1 equals 0. Then, add both sides by 1. So, 1 half. Ibalhin man ni transpose. I don't have my writing pad here. So, solve for x here. So, x equals 1 half. Equate to 1 and then divide 2. So, 1 half. But, look at the degree here. Greater ang numerator sa degree sa denominator. So, there's no horizontal asymptote. Another example. Find the vertical and horizontal asymptotes of this rational function. F of x equals 2x over x squared plus 1. Okay. Dili man na siya factorable. So, ang iyang degree, ang iyang vertical asymptote, you cannot factor this one. Only the difference. So, wala siya vertical asymptote. Wala siya makapa-0. If you have negative 1 squared 1, no 2 siya. Wala makapa-0 sa denominator. So, there's no zeros of the denominator. So, there's no vertical asymptote. While for horizontal, look at the degree. Less than ang degree. Ang degree ani kay 1, the degree of the denominator is 2 man. So, y equals 0 ang horizontal asymptote. Not factorable, thus no real roots. Okay, another one. Find the vertical and horizontal asymptotes. For the denominator, x plus 1 equals 0, x equals negative 1. Equate naman ni siya. Equate to 0. X plus 1 equals 0, x equals negative 1. For the sa horizontal asymptote, look at the degree. Same, di ba? So, ang iyang leading coefficient, 2 over 1 or 2. Y equals 2 over 1 or 2.
Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and watch my other math tutorials.